Hi friends, Itheria here, and recently my static etiquette video has been gaining a fair bit of traction, so I decided that for this week I would kind of do a follow-up video about how to look for statics, how to find the right static for you. And I was partially inspired by that video, not just because it's getting a little more popular, but also because of the comments on it of people telling their stories about some of the bad statics that they've had. Now, a lot of these people might be experienced enough now to know what to look for or how to interact with potential statics. But if you're kind of new to the game, then I think I have some tips that could potentially help you, so let's just get right into it. First of all, you should determine your goals. Before you're even going to look at statics, determine what your goals are. So this could be things like, are you trying to get best in slot? Do you just want to experience the fight? Is the glamour from the fights your main goal? How quickly are you looking to prog? Is it something that you want to prog the whole tier in a month? Or are you more casual and you don't really care how long it takes? Are you interested in speed kills? Are you completely new to Savage and it's a new type of gameplay that you're hoping to learn? Basically, you need to figure out exactly what it is that you are hoping to gain from the Savage raiding experience so that you can find a static that has similar goals. Along these same lines, you want to determine expectations for the group that you are looking for. Do you expect players to be at a certain skill level? Do you expect members to be kicked if they are missing too many raid nights or are otherwise holding back the group? What kind of vibe are you looking for? Something very serious, something more casual, or something in between? Just as with the goals, if you're able to make your expectations clear to any potential static that you may join, then you'll have a better sense of if that static is right for you or not, because you can ask them these questions about your goals and expectations, and if you don't like the answers, then clearly it's probably not a static you should join. If you do like the answers, however, that means it's probably time to do something called trialing. This isn't something that necessarily all statics will do, especially if they are a static that kind of forms from zero and nobody has ever played with each other. But you do see this more often with statics that are maybe like half formed, maybe they have like a 5 out of 8 or something. People will come and play with them and they will basically see how they all mesh together. I think it's a really good idea to trial if you can. I know it can be intimidating, you might feel like they are testing you or something, but a better way to look at it is that you're testing them. You want to see if you enjoy raiding with them, if they are at the same skill level as you are. Is there a good vibe? Does this seem like something that you will be able to do for weeks on end with these people? Even if you have a group that has formed from the ground up, you can either trial by directly just trying to play the current tier, or if you happen to come across this video and we're not like in the middle of a Savage tier, it's before a tier, you can always hop into the most recent one or some extreme trials, current extreme trials, to see how everybody plays together. Finally, I'd like to talk about raiding with friends. Sometimes raiding with friends is an incredible experience. I mean, you're friends with people for a reason. You get along, you like them, you share a similar sense of humor, you have things in common, whatever it may be, you enjoy spending time with these people. They are your friends. So sometimes raiding with them can be just as good of a time as doing literally any other activity with them. However, not always. There can be pitfalls to raiding with friends. I think one of the biggest ones is that you're not always at the same skill level. So you may be really good friends, but if you've never raided together before, or maybe they've never raided but you have, it's like you have to be willing to help out a new player because otherwise you're going to feel held back. I think that's what often happens with groups of friends who are playing together, is like they're all like, oh hey, we're friends, let's all raid together. Then they get into it and certain people may feel like they're being held back, like they're not progging as quickly as they would like to because their friends, much as they may love them, just aren't as skilled of raiders and they just need more practice and experience before they get to that point. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to be the person that helps them. Like, we all have to spend our own time in the way that we want to spend it. So you are not beholden to helping your friends get better, but it's something that you should consider before you even join a group with your friends. Because once you join, like, yes, you can leave, but it could be hurtful to your friendship to leave the group because you're like, hey man, you suck, I really want to prog faster. Like, I know, yeah, you're probably not going to say it that meanly, but that's my point, is like, it can be a little iffy. Another issue that can happen with friend groups, people are comfortable with each other. I once roomed with a friend in college, and she used to leave her food out. Like, I had to ask her to clean it up. It'd be like growing mold on it. I would like wait for her to clean up, and then finally I'd be like, please, can you clean up your food? And the reason I bring up this story is because I feel that friends and family have this comfort level with each other that causes them to be less considerate. Like, if you have a roommate who's a stranger, you would never do that. And I feel like it's the same way. For whatever reason, we are so much like more considerate of strangers than the people who are close to us. So that can happen in statics too, with things like people not showing up, people not even like melding or things like that, or like doing it when they first get there. They'd be like, oh, my friend will help me, or expecting their friend to craft them things like food and whatnot. And I know a lot of groups are totally happy to craft food, gear, and tanks for the entire group, but you gotta remember like that the person that is doing the crafting is actively losing money on that if you are not giving them materials or money to do that. So, you know, you shouldn't, just because they're your friends, you shouldn't be inconsiderate of them, and you shouldn't expect those types of handouts from them, and that can sometimes happen. So it's really a double-edged sword, or two sides of one coin, where it can be a super great experience, or it can be a not so great one that can in some instances even hurt friendships. So just be aware of that. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the things that you should consider, but finally, where do you actually find a static? Well, one of the best places to look is going to be Discord. I will link in the description as many rating Discords as I can find. If I miss any, don't be afraid to put them in the comments section. But yes, Discord is definitely one of the best places to look. Lots of people are posting there, so it's a great resource. Believe it or not, Party Finder can be a great way to find a static. This is kind of how I found my own static, but before I get there, of course, people are actually listing their statics in Party Finder. You can go to the tab with the purple monster for the high-end raids, or whatever the heck it's called, that has the Savage raids in it, and you will see people posting in Party Finder that they're looking for members for their static. However, another benefit of Party Finder, I started the current tier week 1 in Party Finder and literally found a group the same week. Maybe I am just very lucky, and I wasn't even planning on finding a static, but I jumped in with a group that was 5 out of 8. They were all in Discord. I went in the Discord. They were fun. They were chill, but still pretty decent players who had what it took to get the raids done. And I was like, this is a great group, I'm not leaving. And I've been raiding with them ever since. Similarly, I've had some people in my FC with experiences kind of like mine, where they decided to do the tier in Party Finder, and as they went through Party Finder, they ended up picking up people that they got along with and had fun with, and they basically just ended up raiding with those people as sort of like a half static. So they would raid with the people that they found that they liked that happened to all play at the same time as them, and then just pick up the rest from Party Finder. I know Party Finder can be a nightmare, but when you have half already, that can help a lot, and you don't have to sit alone and bored, and you can have someone do callouts, so it can still be a good experience even to have a half static and raid in Party Finder. So those are kind of the main places to look for and find statics. And with that, I want to say one last thing, which is don't be afraid to leave. If you join a static group and it is not the right one for you, even if you followed these tips and you did a trial, things can happen. People can rear their ugly heads later in the tier. Somebody who seems nice at first may later become toxic when they decide that you're not progging fast enough. Who knows? Shit happens. So if you decide that a group actually isn't right for you, honestly, just leave. Because you might be worried like, oh, if I leave, I'm not going to be able to finish the tier, I'm not going to be able to find a static. And while those are all valid fears, I don't necessarily think they are true. Obviously, the timing of where you're at could affect that. Right now, it is definitely not too late to join a static. We are still at the tip of the iceberg with the tier. Very, very, very few people have best in slot. Like, I'm at 616 and we're starting P8 as prog. I think my group is one of the faster ones because we meet quite often, but for other groups, some people are only like halfway or not even through the tier, it is definitely not too late. So it's not too late to leave a group, it's not too late to join a group, and honestly, whether the group is toxic or just slower than what you'd like, oftentimes it's gonna be better to leave, pick up the slack in Party Finder while you wait to find a new group, and there you go. So I think those are basically all of my tips on things that you should consider while looking for a static. I wish all of you the best of luck with finding statics. I hope that you can find a great static if you're not already in one, and if you're interested in doing the raids, they are pretty fun this time around. If you have any helpful tips when it comes to looking for a static, then please do leave them in the comments below. And as always, remember to leave a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!